Admiral, congratulations on the council session, but we've got a situation developing here at home. Chen's brow furrowed. What kind of situation? Gonzalez looked uncomfortable. There's been a leak. Footage of the Prometheus in action against the swarm has made its way onto the global net. People are demanding answers, and not everyone is happy about our sudden leap onto the galactic stage. Chen sighed. They had known this day would come, but she had hoped for more time. Understood, Ambassador. Prepare a joint statement with the Secretary General. We'll need to address the world openly and honestly. As she ended the call, Chen turned to find High Counselor Zixrix standing nearby, his compound eyes studying her intently. Troubles at home, Admiral? The alien leader asked. Chen nodded. Change is never easy, High Counselor. Some of my people will be excited by these new opportunities. Others will be frightened, angry even. We're no longer alone in the universe, and that's a lot for some to process. Zixrix's antennae twitched in what Chen had learned was a gesture of understanding. It is the same for many of our worlds, Admiral. Your people are not alone in their apprehension, but I believe, as you do, that we are stronger together than apart. As they walked together towards the diplomatic quarters, Chen's mind raced with the challenges ahead. Earth would need to rapidly advance its infrastructure to handle interstellar trade and diplomacy. Education systems would need an overhaul to prepare the next generation for life in a galactic society. And there were sure to be extremist groups who would resist the changes, perhaps violently. But with these challenges came unprecedented opportunities. Alien medicines could revolutionize healthcare. New energy technologies could solve Earth's environmental crisis. And the knowledge contained in the Council's vast archives could advance human understanding by centuries. As they reached the quarters assigned to the Earth delegation, Zixrix paused. Admiral, there is one more matter we must discuss. The Ascended One's interest in humanity is significant. They have requested a private audience with you. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. The Ascended Ones were an enigma. Their motives and capabilities barely understood even by the oldest council races. What could they want with her? When? She asked simply. Now, if you are ready, Zixrix replied. Chen took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. Whatever the Ascended Ones wanted, it would undoubtedly shake the future of not just humanity, but perhaps the entire galaxy. I'm ready, she said. As Chen followed Zixrix deeper into the station, towards a meeting that could change the course of cosmic history, she couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of events that had brought her to this point. From a species barely able to reach its own moon, humanity had become a linchpin in the galaxy's future in a matter of weeks. The challenges ahead were immense, the responsibilities staggering. But as Chen thought of the ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer determination that had defined human history, she felt a surge of confidence. Whatever the galaxy had in store, humanity would face it head-on. Their ascension was just beginning. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council hummed with an energy unlike anything in its long history. Representatives from hundreds of worlds filled the tiered seating. Their eyes, sensory organs, and various alien appendages all focused on the central podium. There, flanked by the imposing figures of High Counselor Zixrix and Admiral Krovac, stood Admiral Alina Chen. Chen's crisp blue uniform, adorned with newly minted medals of galactic valor, stood in stark contrast to the exotic garb of the alien dignitaries surrounding her. Yet there was no mistaking the respect and hint of fear in the eyes that watched her. Members of the Galactic Council, Chen began, her voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. 3 standard rotations ago, we faced extinction at the hands of the swarm. Today, we stand here not just as survivors, but as architects of a new era of galactic cooperation. A wave of agreement rippled through the assembly. The defeat of the swarm had shaken the very foundations of galactic society. Ancient rivalries and long-held prejudices seemed petty in the face of what they had all endured and overcome together. Humanity came to you as petitioners, Chen continued. We sought to join your ranks, to learn from your wisdom and experience. Instead, fate thrust us into the role of saviors. She paused, her eyes sweeping the chamber. But make no mistake, our victory was a joint effort, human ingenuity combined with the strength and knowledge of 100 worlds. High Counselor Zixrix stepped forward, his iridescent wings shimmering in the chamber's light. Admiral Chen speaks truth. The Council has deliberated, and we are unanimous in our decision. Earth is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Council, with all rights and responsibilities therein. A cheer went up from the assembly, a cacophony of alien voices united in approval. Chen allowed herself a small smile. It was a moment of triumph, yes, but also one of immense responsibility. As the noise died down, Admiral Krovac raised a tentacle for silence. But this is not the only change we must consider. The swarm's attack exposed weaknesses in our defenses, in our very way of thinking. We propose the formation of a new galactic defense force, with humanity playing a central role. Murmurs of surprise and excitement rippled through the crowd. Chen stepped forward again. We are honored by your trust. Earth stands ready to share our technology and tactics. But more importantly, we bring a fresh perspective. Our history is filled with conflicts and challenges that have forged us into adaptable problem solvers. We believe this mindset will be crucial in facing future threats. The next few hours were a whirlwind of proposals, debates, and negotiations. The structure of galactic society was being reshaped before their very eyes. Earth would lead a new rapid response fleet, combining the stealth technology of the Prometheus with the best ships and weapons the Council races had to offer. Research initiatives were established to delve into the quantum communication techniques that had made the swarm so formidable. As the session drew to a close, an unexpected figure approached the podium. The being seemed to shimmer and shift, its form difficult for the eye to focus on. A collective gasp went up from the assembly. An ascended one, Zixrix whispered, his mandibles clicking in awe. The ethereal being's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. We have watched and waited, as is our way. But the actions of humanity have intrigued us. Perhaps it is time for the Ascended to take a more active role in galactic affairs. The implications of this statement were staggering. The Ascended ones, with their near-godlike technology and understanding of the universe, had been aloof observers for eons. Their involvement could change everything. As the council session adjourned, Chen found herself surrounded by a mix of human and alien well-wishers. Dr. Emma Sasaki pushed through the crowd, her eyes shining with excitement. Admiral, the Synthoids have agreed to a joint AI research project, and the Drefid want to study our quantum entanglement theories. This is incredible. Chen nodded, feeling a mix of pride and trepidation. It's a new galaxy, Emma. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. As they made their way through the station's winding corridors, Chen's comm unit beeped. A holographic display sprang to life, showing the face of Ambassador Maria Gonzalez back on Earth. Damage report, Chen called out, pulling herself up from where she'd been thrown. O'Meal groaned, his neural link temporarily severed. Multiple systems offline. Weapons, propulsion, and life support are running on auxiliaries. But we're alive. As the smoke cleared, the true extent of what had happened became clear. The hive mind was gone, utterly destroyed. And with it, the swarm's coordination had vanished. What remained of their once mighty armada drifted aimlessly, or fell easy prey to the council fleet. We did it. Emma's disbelieving voice came through the comms. We actually did it. Chen allowed herself a moment of relief before snapping back into command mode. Broadcast on all frequencies. This is Admiral Elena Chen of the U.S. Prometheus to all council ships. The swarm's central intelligence has been destroyed. Mop up any remaining resistance and prepare to secure the area. As the council fleet moved to comply, a new signal came through. It was High Counselor Zixrix himself, his mandibles clicking rapidly in what Chen had learned was a sign of extreme emotion. Admiral Chen. The alien leader's voice was filled with awe and not a little fear. You've done the impossible. The Galactic Council owes you and your crew a debt that can never be repaid. Chen nodded solemnly. We're glad we could help, High Counselor. But this victory belongs to all of us, human and alien alike. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the enormity of what they'd accomplished began to sink in. Humanity, in one fell swoop, had saved the galaxy and proven themselves as equals, perhaps even superiors, to the oldest and most advanced civilizations known. Admiral, O'Neill said softly, what happens now? Chen looked out at the starfield, where the remnants of the swarm drifted lifelessly, and the ships of 100 worlds moved to secure their hard-won victory. Now, Mr. O'Neill, we help rebuild, and we take our place among the stars. As the Prometheus limped back towards the main council fleet, escorted by an honor guard of alien vessels, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and trepidation. They had won the battle, saved countless lives, and changed the course of galactic history. But she knew that the real challenges were just beginning. Humanity was no longer an isolated species on a backwater planet. They were players on the grandest stage imaginable, with all the opportunities and dangers that entailed. As the ship docked with the Council's massive space station, Chen took a deep breath. It was time to face the new galaxy they had helped create. Time to show the universe what humanity could really do. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. The void of space erupted in a dazzling display of destructive energy. Beams of coherent light, streams of plasma, and exotic particle weapons crisscrossed the battlefield. The combined fleets of the Galactic Council clashed with the seemingly endless swarms of biomechanical horrors. Aboard the U.S. Prometheus, Admiral Elena Chen watched the chaos unfold with steely determination. The ship's advanced stealth systems kept them hidden from both ally and enemy, a ghost among giants. Status report, Chen barked, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. Lieutenant Commander Jack O'Neill, his mind melded with the ship's AI, responded instantly. Stealth systems holding steady. We're tracking the Council fleet's movements and the swarm's responses. The AI is compiling the data and refining our model of the hive mind's decision-making process. Dr. Emma Sasaki's voice came through the comms, tinged with excitement and fear. Admiral, we're detecting quantum fluctuations consistent with our entanglement theory. The hive mind is definitely coordinating the swarm from a central location. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Good work, Doctor. Jack, are we ready to make our move? Yes, Mom. The AI has extrapolated the most likely location of the hive mind based on the command signals. It's inside that. The main view screen zoomed in on a massive structure at the heart of the swarm fleet. It defied easy description, a writhing mass of metal and flesh that seemed to bend reality around it. Tendrils of dark energy pulsed from its core, reaching out to the surrounding ships. That's our target, Chen declared. Notify the Council fleet. It's time to spring the trap. Across the battlefield, the Council ships began a coordinated retreat. To the swarm, it must have looked like victory was at hand. But it was all part of the plan. Prometheus actual to all Council ships, Chen broadcast. Execute Operation Trojan Horse. I say again, execute Operation Trojan Horse. As the Council fleet pulled back, they left behind thousands of seemingly crippled or destroyed vessels. The swarm, ever hungry for resources, swarmed towards the easy prey. Now, Jack. O'Neill's hands danced over the controls, his mind working in perfect synchronization with the ship's eye. The Prometheus decloaked directly in front of the hive mind structure, so close they could see the grotesque details of its biomechanical surface. Fire everything, Chen ordered. The Prometheus unleashed its full arsenal. Graviton tethers lashed out, ensnaring the massive structure and disrupting its dark energy field. Quantum-locked missiles phased through its defenses, detonating deep within its core. And a concentrated beam of exotic particles, the product of humanity's most advanced research, carved through its central mass. The effect was catastrophic. The hive mind structure convulsed, its tendrils thrashing wildly. Across the battlefield, swarm ships suddenly lost coordination, colliding with each other or flying off in random directions. But the battle was far from over. The structure, though grievously wounded, fought back. A tendril of dark energy lashed out, catching the Prometheus broadside. Alarms blared throughout the ship. Emma's voice came through, tight with stress. Direct hit. Stealth systems are offline. Hull integrity at 60% and dropping. Chen gripped her command chair. Evasive maneuvers. Keep us in the fight. O'Neill complied, guiding the Prometheus through a series of impossible turns and rolls. The ship danced among the chaos, firing continually at the wounded hive mind. Council fleet, this is Prometheus Actual. Chen broadcast. The target is vulnerable. Converge on our position and concentrate all fire. The Council ships responded with a vengeance. Freed from the constant adaptation of the swarm, their superior firepower began to tell. Volley after volley slammed into the hive mind structure. On the Prometheus's bridge, Chen watched the tactical display with growing hope. The swarm was in disarray, their ships easy prey for the organized Council fleet. But the hive mind, though crippled, refused to die. Admiral, Emma's voice came through again. I'm detecting a massive energy buildup in the structure. I think it's going to. Her words were cut off as the hive mind exploded in a blinding flash of light and dark energy. The shockwave rolled across space, catching friend and foe alike. Brace for impact, Chen shouted. The Prometheus shuddered as the wave hit, systems flickering and alarms screaming. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed like the ship might tear itself apart. Then, slowly, the shaking subsided. Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in an eerie red glow. High Counselor Zixrix raised his arms for silence. This is unprecedented. Never in the history of the Council have we allowed a non-member species to lead a military operation of this scale. He paused, his compound eyes sweeping the chamber. And yet these are unprecedented times. All those in favor of accepting Earth's assistance, signal your assent. One by one, holographic indicators blinked green as species after species voted in favor. Even the Novari, after a moment's hesitation, added their support. Then it is decided, Zixrix announced. Admiral Chen, you will coordinate with our fleet commanders. Every resource at our disposal is now at your command. As the Council erupted into a flurry of activity, Chen turned to her team. Well, we're in it now. Dr. Patel, I need you to work with the Council's scientists. Find us a way to locate that hive mind. Ambassador Gonzalez, keep the politicians in line. We can't afford any infighting. And you, Admiral? Gonzalez asked. Chen's eyes gleamed with determination. I'm going to prep the Prometheus. It's time to show the galaxy what one Earth ship can really do. As the human delegation dispersed to their tasks, a small group of alien leaders huddled in a corner of the chamber. Can we trust them? The Draphid ambassador asked, its crystalline form shimmering with uncertainty. Admiral Krovak's four eyes blinked in sequence. Trust? No. But right now, they're our best hope for survival. And if they succeed, he left the thought unfinished. High Counselor Zixrix chittered softly. If they succeed, the balance of power in the galaxy will shift dramatically. Earth will have proven itself a force to be reckoned with. And if they fail, the Synthoid representative queried. Zixrix's wings fluttered grimly. If they fail, none of us will be around to worry about it. As the Council chamber emptied, its members rushing to prepare for the coming battle, the great holographic display continued to blink. World after world fell to the swarm, a tide of red sweeping across the galaxy. But now, for the first time since the invasion began, a small spark of hope flickered in the hearts of the Council races. In the depths of space, aboard the U.S. Prometheus, Admiral Elena Chen stood on the bridge, watching as the combined fleets of 100 worlds assembled around her ship. The fate of the galaxy now rested on human shoulders. It was time to prove that humanity belonged among the stars. The real battle was about to begin. The Galactic Council Chamber, once a bastion of order and civility, had devolved into pandemonium. Delegates from 100 worlds shouted over one another, their translator modules struggling to keep up with the cacophony of alien languages. At the center of it all, High Counselor Zixrix attempted to restore order, his iridescent wings fluttering in agitation. "Silence," he bellowed, his mandibles clacking. "We must approach this crisis with unity and—" A holographic display flickered to life, cutting him off. The image showed a Draphid colony world, its lush purple forests now burning under the onslaught of the swarm. Biomechanical ships, like a plague of locusts, blotted out the sky. On the ground, nightmarish creatures that were part flesh, part machine, swarmed over defensive positions. The Draphid ambassador, a being of living crystal, shattered into 1,000 pieces before reforming, a gesture of extreme distress. "They've taken 3 more systems in the last solar rotation. Our fleets are scattered. We need help." From the other side of the chamber, the Synthoid representative's optics flashed red. "The Draphid's incompetence is not our concern. We must fortify the core worlds and—" "Incompetence?" the Draphid screeched, its crystalline form vibrating dangerously. "Where was your vaunted Synthoid battle logic when the swarm overran Outpost Sigma?" Before the argument could escalate further, a new alarm blared. All eyes turned to the central holo-display. A map of the galaxy materialized, showing the inexorable advance of the swarm. Red icons indicating fallen worlds blinked into existence at an alarming rate. Admiral Krovac of the Novari Empire stepped forward, his 4 eyes narrowed. "The swarm's advance is unlike anything we've seen. They're adapting to our tactics faster than we can develop new ones. It's as if they can predict our every move." A murmur of fear rippled through the assembly. The Novari were legendary warriors. If they were struggling, what hope did the rest of the galaxy have? High Counselor Zixrix's antennae drooped. What of the Ascended Ones? Surely they must intervene now. A somber silence fell over the chamber. Everyone knew the Ascended Ones, the eldest and most advanced species in the galaxy, had long ago adopted a policy of non-interference. They watched from their megastructures, studying the younger races but never engaging directly. "We've received no response to our pleas," a junior aide reported quietly. As despair began to settle over the assembly, an unexpected voice cut through the gloom. "Perhaps it's time you considered some alternative strategies." All eyes turned to the human delegation. Ambassador Maria Gonzalez stood tall, flanked by Admiral Chen and Dr. Puddle. The trio had been quietly observing the proceedings, their expressions unreadable. Krovac's tentacles writhed in annoyance. "This is not the time for games, humans. Your primitive technologies." "Primitive?" Chen interrupted, a dangerous edge to her voice. "I seem to recall our primitive ship giving your cruiser quite a surprise during the war games, Admiral." The Novari leader bristled but said nothing. The memory of the Prometheus's stunning performance was still fresh in everyone's minds. Ambassador Gonzalez stepped forward. "Esteemed members of the Council, we've been monitoring the swarm's advance. We believe we may have insights that could turn the tide of this war." A ripple of disbelief ran through the chamber. High Counselor Zixrix leaned forward, his compound eyes focusing intently on the human delegation. "And what, precisely, can Earth offer that the combined might of the Galactic Council cannot?" Dr. Patil activated a holographic display of his own. Complex equations and diagrams sprang to life around him. "We've analyzed the swarm's attack patterns. There's an underlying logic to their seemingly chaotic movements. We believe their entire force is controlled by a central intelligence, a hive mind, if you will." The Synthoid representative's optics whirred as it processed this information. Impossible. The processing power required to coordinate a force of that size across such vast distances would be immense, Patel finished for him. "Yes, but not impossible. especially if they're utilizing quantum entanglement for instantaneous communication. A hush fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. If the humans were right, it could explain the swarm's incredible ability to adapt and coordinate. Admiral Chen stepped forward. "We propose a joint operation. Your fleets, combined with Earth's stealth and AI technology, could strike at the heart of the swarm, cut off the head, and the body will fall." For a moment, no one spoke. Then slowly, voices began to rise in support of the human plan. It was risky, audacious even, but it offered hope where before there had been none. Emma's eyes widened. "But I'm not trained for space combat. I'm an engineer, nada." "You're what we got." Chen cut her off. "Jack will fly. You'll keep it running. I'll handle tactics. Now move." As they raced towards the Prometheus, the facility shook. Distant explosions echoed through the cavern. "They're starting their attack," Chen growled. "Probably think they're hitting some normal military base." The ship's boarding ramp lowered as they approached. Jack was already in the cockpit, his mind melded with the ship's systems. Emma took her place at the engineering station, hands shaking slightly as she brought systems online. "Prometheus, what's your status?" Chen asked, settling into the command chair. The AI's calm voice filled the bridge. "All systems operational, Admiral. Stealth systems active. Weapons hot." Chen allowed herself a grim smile. "All right then. Let's show these scrapers what humanity can do. Jack, take us up." The Prometheus hummed to life, its advanced engines barely making a sound as it lifted off. The massive hangar doors above them ground open, revealing a turbulent ocean. Without hesitation, Jack guided the ship upward. As they burst from the waves, Emma gasped. The sky was filled with sleek, predatory ships, scraper vessels, at least a dozen of them, raining destruction on the earth below. "Full stealth, now," Chen ordered. "Take us right into the heart of their formation." The Prometheus shimmered and vanished, becoming invisible not just to the naked eye, but to all known forms of detection. They glided silently past scraper ships, their enemies oblivious to the danger in their midst. "Weapons locked on their flagship," Jack reported, his voice eerily calm as he communed with the ship. Chen's eyes narrowed. Fire. A lance of energy, hotter than the core of a star, lashed out from the Prometheus. It struck the scraper flagship dead center, burning through advanced alien shields like they were tissue paper. The massive ship split in two, secondary explosions rippling along its hull. For a moment, there was stunned silence. Then, panic erupted among the scraper fleet. Ships began firing wildly, trying to hit an enemy they couldn't see. Again, Chen commanded, "Target their engines. I want them disabled, not destroyed." Emma watched in awe as the Prometheus danced through the battle, striking with surgical precision. One by one, scraper ships fell dark, their engines destroyed, crews trapped and helpless. In less than 10 minutes, it was over. The attackers hung motionless in orbit, crippled by a foe they never even saw. Chen opened a channel to the scraper ships. "Attention scraper vessels. This is Admiral Elena Chen of Earth. Your unprovoked attack on our planet has failed. You are now our prisoners." She turned to her crew, a fierce pride in her eyes. "Send word to the Galactic Council. Tell them Earth has single-handedly defeated a scraper invasion force. And let them know." A wolfish grin spread across her face. "Let them know we're ready for those war games now." As the Prometheus descended back to Earth, Emma felt a mix of elation and trepidation. They had won this battle, but she knew it was only the beginning. Humanity had just announced its presence on the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. The real challenges were yet to come. The subterranean facility hummed with nervous energy as Earth's brightest minds worked tirelessly on their secret weapon. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a cavern large enough to house a small city, the U.S. Prometheus waited. Dr. Emma Sasaki wiped sweat from her brow as she made final adjustments to the ship's quantum core. The technology they were working with was so advanced it bordered on magic, even to her. Reverse engineered from fragments of alien tech and pushed far beyond its original capabilities by human ingenuity, the core was the heart of their greatest achievement. Dr. Sasaki, a voice called from across the hangar. We've got a problem with the neural interface. Emma sighed, setting down her tools. No rest for the weary. As she jogged towards the source of the commotion, she marveled at the Prometheus. Its sleek, dark hull seemed to drink in the light, a product of metamaterials that could bend electromagnetic waves around the ship. It wasn't just a vessel, it was humanity's hope. Lieutenant Commander Jack O'Neill sat in the cockpit, a web of sensors attached to his temples. His face was scrunched in concentration, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. "What's the issue?" Emma asked, approaching the team of neuroscientists surrounding him. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the lead researcher on the neural interface, shook her head in frustration. "The connection keeps destabilizing. Jack's brain waves aren't fully syncing with the ship's eye." O'Neill opened his eyes, blinking rapidly. "It's like trying to shake hands with a ghost. I can almost feel it, but then it slips away." Emma pondered for a moment. What if we're approaching this wrong? Instead of trying to make Jack's mind conform to the AI, why don't we let the AI adapt to him? She leaned into the cockpit, fingers flying over the holographic controls. Lines of code streamed by as she made adjustments to the AI's based parameters. "Jack, try it now. Don't force it. Just imagine you're having a conversation with the ship." O'Neill closed his eyes again, his breathing slowing. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the cockpit lit up. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing system status, weapon readiness, and 1,000 other data points. A smile spread across Jack's face. "Hello, Prometheus," he whispered. The ship's AI responded, its voice resonating not through speakers, but directly in Jack's mind. "Hello, Jack. It's nice to finally meet you." A cheer went up from the assembled team. Emma let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. One more hurdle cleared. Across the hangar, Admiral Chen watched the celebration with a mixture of pride and apprehension. The neural link was crucial, but they were running out of time. In less than 24 hours, they would need to face the Galactic Council's challenge. She approached Dr. Sasaki as the excitement died down. "Good work, Doctor. Is it ready?" Emma hesitated. "Almost. We still need to run full system diagnostics, and the weapons systems haven't been tested in live-fire conditions." Chen's expression hardened. "We're out of time for ideal conditions, Doctor. The Council's war games begin tomorrow, and we need to be ready." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red warning lights bathed the hangar in an ominous glow. "What now?" Chen muttered, striding towards the central command station. A young lieutenant looked up from his console, face pale. "Admiral, we're detecting anomalous energy signatures in orbit. They match known Scraper scout ship profiles." Chen's blood ran cold. The Scrapers were a notoriously xenophobic species, known for scraping younger civilizations clean of technology and life. They weren't part of the Galactic Council, preferring to lurk on the fringes, preying on the weak. "How did they find us?" Emma asked, horror creeping into her voice. "Doesn't matter," Chen replied, her mind racing. "What matters is they're here, and we're not ready." The Admiral turned to her crew, voice ringing with authority. "This is not a drill. I'm initiating Operation Trojan Horse ahead of schedule. All non-essential personnel, evacuate to emergency bunkers. Prometheus crew, prepare for immediate launch." As chaos erupted around them, Chen pulled Emma aside. "Doctor, I need you on that ship. You know its systems better than anyone." Ambassador Gonzalez opened her mouth to protest, but Admiral Chen placed a hand on her arm. "We accept," Chen said, her voice carrying a steel that made several delegates pause. "Splendid." Krovak's mouth tentacles writhed in what might have been a smile. We shall convene in the Outer Rim testing grounds in one standard cycle. Bring your finest vessels, humans. You'll need them. As the council session adjourned, the human delegation huddled in a private chamber. Have you lost your mind, Admiral? Ambassador Gonzalez hissed. We can't possibly compete with their technology. Chen's eyes gleamed. No, we can't. Not with what they've seen. Dr. Patil caught on, a slow smile spreading across his face. Operation Trojan Horse. The Admiral nodded. It's time to show them what humanity is truly capable of. Back on Earth, in a hidden facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a flurry of activity erupted. The U.S. Prometheus, Earth's best-kept secret, was about to see the light of day. Dr. Emma Sasaki, the lead engineer of Project Prometheus, watched as her creation hummed to life. The ship was a marvel, a fusion of reverse-engineered alien technology and human innovation. It tall, composed of metamaterials, could bend light and other electromagnetic waves around it, rendering it virtually invisible. The AI core, quantum entangled and more advanced than anything the Council races had conceived, could process battle strategies in nanoseconds. All systems are go, reported Lieutenant Commander Jack O'Neill, the ship's pilot. His neural implants interfaced directly with Prometheus, making ship and pilot one. As the Prometheus rose from its underground hangar, Admiral Chen addressed the crew. What we do here today will determine humanity's place in the galaxy. The Council believes us to be primitive, incapable. We're about to prove them wrong. The ship accelerated, breaking free of Earth's atmosphere with barely a tremor. As they approached the designated coordinates for the wargame, Chen gave the order. Activate full stealth protocols. Let's give our alien friends a show they'll never forget. In the observation deck of the Galactic Council's mobile platform, aliens of all species gathered to watch what they assumed would be a quick and humiliating defeat for the humans. Admiral Krovac stood proudly before the view screen, his Novari battle cruiser gleaming against the starfield. Scanners detect 3 Earth vessels approaching, announced a technician. Primitive propulsion, minimal shielding. They appear to be broadcasting their positions openly. Laughter rippled through the crowd. High Counselor Zixrix shook his head. To think they believed they could join us as equals. The human ships, a pitiful display of outdated technology, formed a triangle formation. The Novari cruiser's weapon systems locked on, ready to end the farce with a single volley. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Novari ship. Massive energy spike, cried out the weapons officer. Unknown signature, it's. A shimmer in space revealed the U.S. Prometheus, decloaking mere kilometers from the Novari vessel. Before anyone could react, tendrils of blue energy lashed out, enveloping the alien cruiser. By the cosmic egg, whispered Zixrix. What is that? On the Prometheus's bridge, Lieutenant Commander O'Neill grinned. Graviton tethers deployed. They're not going anywhere. Admiral Chen's voice was calm as she opened a channel to the observation deck. Galactic Council, Admiral Krovac. This is Admiral Elena Chen of the U.S. Prometheus. Your ship is immobilized. We could destroy it at will, but that was never our intention. The view screen showed Chen standing proudly on her bridge, surrounded by technology that made even the most advanced Council races gape in awe. Humanity comes in peace, but we will not be underestimated. We seek friendship, cultural exchange, and mutual defense. But know this, we are nobody's servants, and we bow to no one. As the Prometheus released the Novari ship, the observation deck erupted into chaos. Delegates argued, some demanding immediate action against the humans, others calling for alliance. Ambassador Gonzalez stepped forward, her voice cutting through the din. Members of the Council, today you've seen a fraction of what humanity can do. Imagine what we could accomplish together as allies and equals. High Counselor Zixrix, his earlier arrogance replaced by a mix of fear and respect, raised his arms for silence. It seems, he said slowly, that we have much to discuss with our esteemed colleagues from Earth. As negotiations began in earnest, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through conquest, but by commanding respect. The galaxy would never be the same, and the adventure was just beginning. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with an air of anticipation and barely concealed disdain. Hundreds of alien delegates representing species from across the Milky Way shifted in their anti-gravity seats, their eyes, tentacles, and various sensory organs all focused on the small group of humans standing at the center of the vast amphitheater. Admiral Elena Chen stood tall, her crisp blue uniform adorned with medals that spoke of Earth's conflicts, battles that now seemed quaint in the face of interstellar civilization. Flanking her were Dr. Amit Patel, Earth's leading xenotechnologist, and Ambassador Maria Gonzalez, whose task of representing humanity had just become exponentially more complex. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Gonzalez began, her voice steady despite the nerves fluttering in her stomach. We come before you as representatives of Earth, seeking to join this august body and contribute to the greater galactic community. A ripple of chittering laughter echoed through the chamber. High Counselor Zixrix, an imposing insectoid being with iridescent wings, leaned forward on his pod. And what, precisely, does your Earth bring to our table? His mandibles clicked in what the humans were beginning to recognize as amusement. Admiral Chen stepped forward, activating a holographic display. We present our most advanced military technology as a demonstration of our capability to assist in galactic defense. The hologram flickered to life, showing Earth's pride. The UES Defender, a state-of-the-art battlecruiser. Its sleek design and array of missile launchers had been the culmination of decades of human innovation. The laughter that followed was deafening. "Is this some kind of jest?" came a gurgling voice from the molluscoid delegation. That vessel wouldn't last a picosecond against a Draphid mining barge, let alone a proper warship. Dr. Patel bristled. "Our ship may not match your current standards, but human ingenuity." "Human ingenuity," interrupted Counselor Vex of the Synthoid Collective. His metallic face was eerily still, but amusement dripped from every syllable. "Your species has barely mastered elementary particle physics. The energy output of your entire planet wouldn't power this chamber for a day." Ambassador Gonzalez tried to regain control. "We understand we have much to learn, but we are quick to adapt. Our history is filled with rapid technological advancements. Your history," boomed High Counselor Zixrix, "is a blink in the cosmic eye. Galactic civilizations rise and fall in the time it took your kind to discover basic spaceflight." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien laughter and dismissive gestures. Admiral Chen's face remained impassive, but her knuckles whitened as she gripped the holographic projector. From the upper tiers, a new voice cut through the din. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order." The chamber fell silent as Admiral Krovac of the Novari Empire rose from his seat. The Novari were known across the galaxy as peerless warriors, their battle fleets the stuff of legend. Krovac's 4 eyes narrowed as he regarded the humans. "You claim to be capable of galactic defense. I propose a war game. Your best ships against a single Novari cruiser. Should you manage to even scratch our hull, the Council will consider your petition." High Counselor Zixrix's wings fluttered in excitement. "An excellent proposal. It shall be a lesson in humility for our guests."